You're a new recruit to Rainbow Six Siege. You're about to join one of the greatest gaming communities out there, but you may be wondering, what is Rainbow Six? Rainbow Six is a game where multiplayer is at the center of the experience, focusing on gameplay that is just the right mix of tactics, destruction, and unique heroes that we call our operators. This video will help you learn everything you need to know before your first steps in Rainbow Six Siege. Rainbow Six features 3 different team deathmatch online game modes: Hostage, Secure Area, and Bomb. At the beginning of each round, there will be time for preparation. Defenders will be able to set their defenses with a variety of tools and gadgets. Attackers can send drones to recon the map, locate threats, objectives, and prepare their attack. But whether attacking or defending, knowing which operator to choose will have a big impact on your game. Operators are truly the heroes of Rainbow Six Siege, choosing amongst dozens of highly trained operatives from all over the world. Each operator is specialized in either offense or defense, owning tools and gadgets unique to them. Some operator gadgets allow them to set traps, others excel at breaching. Mastering each skill and gadget will be key to your survival. But choosing your operator is only a fraction of the equation, as an effective team is more than the sum of its parts. In Rainbow Six, you're only as good as your team, so play with your friends or let the matchmaking pick teammates for you. While there's no respawning and no second chances, once your operator is down, you can still exploit security cameras or remaining player drones to help your team achieve victory. Because each environment brings its own challenges, working, planning, and executing together with your team will be key to your success. There are a variety of maps to choose from, with more being released all the time. No two are alike, so you'll need to adapt your strategy, tactics, and choose your operators accordingly. Some will force close encounters. As for others, mastering medium and long-range engagement will be key. In Rainbow Six Siege, you have to always mind your surroundings. Environmental destruction is core to the game experience. When defending, you'll have to take into consideration that windows, walls, and even ceilings can be breached. So reinforce your position and be ready for anything. Rainbow Six Siege is constantly evolving, with free updates, new maps, and operators. But it's more than a game. It's a thriving community with 25 million players and counting. And the community is more alive than ever. Rainbow Six is a game built for gamers with a competitive spirit who won't back down from a challenge. And now, it's your turn to play.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Week 7 of Women's League for the Season 2. My name is the Russian Cthulhu. I'm once again joined by a wonderful Pi. And Pi, we already had 6 weeks, 7 including this one, of just absolute bangers of some of the matchups within Women's League, with some of the games getting really close, some of them being just complete domination showcases by some of the teams. How do you feel the whole season so far kind of looked for you, and just how do you feel about tonight's games?
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you've been saying. Some of these games have been a little bit one-sided, but some of these games have really excited us as viewers and as casters as well. And most notably, last week it was the Forbidden versus Elevate game. Elevate is the strongest team right now in the tournament. They are number one. And as so far, I don't believe they have a single loss. No, they don't. They only have one draw to their name, and they were versing a team Forbidden, which is fourth place. So currently, in the middle of the pack, not doing that great, but not doing that poorly either. And so we thought it was going to be a little bit of a more of a how do you say this? A little bit more one-sided.
Hmm.
However, that was not the case. Forbidden really showed up that day, and they really hit their shots, which I would assume made Elevate a little bit nervous.
Yeah, for Elevate, things definitely looked a little bit scary there, but at the end of the day, they still were able to claim, I believe,
Yeah.
the dub there. But yeah, we will be seeing though Elevate slightly further down the line today. But before we get into all the nitty gritty parts, quickly let's have a look as well at the ZQ MVP chair prize that will be drawn once the playoffs for the. And the grand finals will be concluded, and the single MVP player from the winning team will be in to get the wonderful purple V6 racer chair. So quite a nice thing to really work towards. But let's have a look as well at the week 6 standings, as we are going to be slowly but surely getting closer to the end of the regular season. I believe this is actually going to be our final day before we get to the playoffs, but nonetheless, Elevate, Kings Women, and Exto Gaming Aqua leading the charge. You've mentioned before that Forbidden was kind of being kind of middle of the pack, but still kind of feeling quite powerful there.
Yeah, most definitely. I think at this point, for the semifinals and the finals round, we most likely have our four teams confirmed for it because I don't believe that 71st will be able to really clutch up the difference between them and Forbidden, seeing as there is only one more week. This is the last week for the round robin.
Mhm.
So I guess at this point, between the games, it would just be a final deciding of who exactly is ranked in the top four, not so much as, oh, I wonder what team is going to make it.
Yeah. Yeah, and the main battle is actually going to be happening within the top 2 bracket.
Mm.
So we have 2 matchups today of Kingswomen actually making an appearance. First one is going to be the 71st playing against Kingswomen, and then further down the line is going to be the battle for the first place between Elevated and Kingswomen, and as to who will claim the final say in the regular season. So should be a pretty interesting one, given that so far Kingswomen are pretty undefeated. They don't have a single loss. Same goes
Yeah.
for Elevate. And at the end of the night tonight, we shall see either one of those teams with an L
That's true. Or it could be a draw.
or a
Could
draw.
be a
Yeah,
draw. Yep.
that's yeah. I keep forgetting that
Yeah.
there is a possibility for a draw, but nonetheless, yeah, it still could tarnish the record quite substantially.
Yeah, most definitely. I think having a loss under the belt of either Kingswomen or Elevate could be a significant blow to their morale as well, because seeing as it is, most likely it will be Elevate and Kingswomen facing off in the grand finals. At this point, I'm not discrediting any of the games that will be happening later today, but it will most likely be Elevate and Kingswomen. And to rematch against a team that possibly you lost to a few weeks ago could really prove to be a little bit of a tricky task.
Yeah, could be a quite a tricky one indeed, but we'll have to have a look. First up, though, yeah, that's the 71st versus Kingswomen. Let's have a look as well at the rosters that will be playing for the first matchup for tonight. 71st will be greeting us with Maddie Weasel, Toki Glaze, Zero Prince, Daddy Maddie, and MSC as the sub and the 7th player. Any kind of thoughts on that roster overall?
Yeah, I think well, it's definitely going to be a tough match for 71st. I don't doubt that for a second. I believe the last time that 71st actually faced off against Kingswomen, it didn't really go in 71st's favor, and I think they ended that map in a 0-7 to Kingswomen. but that was very early on in the season as well. So I'm quite excited to see if there will be, a change in the map rounds or a change in playstyle being made by 71st.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see how things will. We'll have to see how things will really go. But let's have a look at the Kings women roster as well. That will be playing against 71st as well. Will be Corvise, Bernabear, Chloe, Butterfly, Coney, and Angry Wolf. That roster has been pretty standard, although you had a few, I believe, some. Well, we were talking about some of their strats as well, so some of the things that they still need to improve upon. But rather, probably the main question will be done as to when they're gonna get to the Elevate game. Those where the grand test, I suppose, will really come around.
Yeah, I think against later on Kingswomen against Elevate against two teams who are quite evenly skilled, evenly matched up at this point. According to the stats at least, any small mistakes that either team will make will most likely get capitalized on by the other team. So it'd be quite interesting to see, this sort of exchange happening, to maybe see an adjustment of strategy happen on the fly, depending on how, the defense and the attacking rounds go. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll
Sorry,
we'll have
I had a train of thought and it just disappeared, and I was like,
it just disappeared.
Yep.
It Thanos snapped out of existence. But hey, I mean, we'll have to see. Maybe Kingswoman will be able to Thanos snap 71st as well out of existence in a few moments. But yeah, let's have a look at the map. By the way, before we get into it, it is going to be Clubhouse, the one, the only, the overplayed Clubhouse that literally, it seems, pretty much 99% of the teams do love, enjoy, and cherish in their memories and in their gameplay. Look, I mean, we've said quite a whole lot of things quite frequently about Clubhouse. It's everyone's game on this map. Either side can really perform, especially in the league that is the Women's League here. We've seen a plentiful amount of rounds, where the attack was just absolutely unrelenting and was able to just pretty much be that bulldozer to just stomp over the opponent team, and some reverse sweeps where it will be the defense that just completely lock things out and just say, nope, you cannot get in. That's it. Denied.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the rounds that we've been seeing played out are very unlikely that you would see a very one-sided hold a lot of the times. Some teams have shown that they are quite strong at the defense capability, and some teams have shown that when it comes to attacking, they don't really shy away and they're quite aggressive with their pushes and peaks. So I'm interested to see how the 71st and Kingswomen matchup will be going along. Of course, it is the 71st starting it off on defense, and which means that Kingswomen will be the attackers for this map.
Correct. Yes, Kingswomen will get to attack and to potentially set up the pace. Sorry, I got completely distracted by that pop out as I was had me completely lost there in the sauce. What map is it? The map that we were just quite literally talking for the past few minutes. But Chatter's probably about to have a field day there. By the way, shout out to Twitch. But looking at the bans overall, back to Clubhouse at hand. Thatcher is banned. Maverick is banned. Stuff that is pretty much, well, as stock standard as it can get, really. You don't want the breaches to happen too quickly, and you don't want the teams to really ignore any of the breaches.
Yeah, most likely, Thatcher Maverick getting banned is really nothing different to what you would see from any high-tech competitive play or any, ranked play you might get. Occasionally, there is a little bit of slippage where, you get a Capital, maybe some anti-flank operator getting banned. But otherwise, on Clubhouse as well, these bans are quite straightforward. Finishing it off on defense with the Mirror and the Echo. No surprise there. Just two 3 armor intel operators getting denied as usual.
Yeah, yeah. The 3 armors not getting any kind of love. But funnily enough, there's another thought that kind of came into my mind whilst we were talking over and talking about about to mention the mirror ban as well. Is there was a pretty good example of why mirror is usually getting banned during the high school league finals, where Mira she managed to slip through on coastline.
Oh yeah.
And a fair few times we actually seen Penthouse to be played out. Usually Penthouse is completely, absolutely just a horrible site to really hold unless you have a mirror. And some of the teams there were able to utilize those mirror windows to their advantage to get some really nice long angles, hold certain positions really well without being really punished as easily as, say, with them playing without the mirror. So with mirror out here and not being played, it is essentially going to ensure that attack will still have a certain element of surprise whenever they're going to be peeking, and 2 is whenever, say, somebody's going to try to, say, push through the red stairs or through the main breach, the attackers will only have to pretty much just watch for a singular spot, where it's rather going to be more so a game of who can hear each one another better or who can pre-fire. So, less information essentially for the defense and more chances for the attack to really react in time.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, I was just looking at the reinforcements on everything that was occurring, and I actually noticed that logistics was being reinforced as well. So I just, for 30 seconds of that setup, I was like, oh, okay.
Big thonk there.
I mean, normally you would spend those 2 reinforcements. I mean, not that logistics isn't a bad reinforcement, but there is a more viable location, which is, yes, the garage was. However, I do see them being done, so I guess, that invalidates my point entirely. I guess sometimes you would...
Just partially.
Just partially. Sometimes you would also see another reinforcement on the raft as well. Oh, and I apparently can't spot any reinforcements at this point.
I mean, the bit rate is there as well, potentially, and it is sometimes quite hard to spot those reinforcements. But yeah, it seems that pretty much all of the bullet points are covered. But yeah, I'm questioning the logistics reinforcement just for the sheer fact that usually we see a whole lot more flexible play from there. But it seems, talking about flexible play, actually. Full-blown action will be happening here in the rafters as well. Full control of the main lobby by Kingswomen as another double will be coming out. That's already a impact charge kill, and wow, that is Jaeger off board, Fish Noodle gone as well. Weasel and Daddy Matty are the last players standing, and things are certainly not looking too pretty, as it seems that Kingswomen are completely not even remotely phased by anything that is really happening around them.
Bomb located by
yeah, most definitely. I think losing those 3 members, at such at such a sudden pace at the start really put a dent in 71st's plan. They look a little bit flustered on site, trying to stuck together on cash. However, it's not really helping them. The last 2 members get taken down in a fairly flawless manner, and Kingswomen will take this round to be theirs.
Yeah, pretty quick, sweet sweep by Buddha SE, Buddha Spartan Esports Magikarp Kingswomen. There we go. We got it. We got it nailed down finally. Analyst, please be gone. Nobody wants your analysis just yet. You got the actual professional on site.
I feel like Buddha's name is what happens when you dedicate yourself to too many teams and they all ask you to add their org at the end of your name, and you're like, hold up, I can do this. I promise I can. You just cram them all in at the end.
That could be the reason. Yeah, definitely. That is one way to really get represent
your bombs from being
taking
defused by
it
attackers.
to a whole new level. But yeah, I mean, well done, well done to Buddha. Either way, yeah, because I was intending initially to read out the like the proper just the abbreviation, but thanks to our wonderful production, they were actually able to decipher all of this, the code, the numbers, Mason. What do they mean?
Yeah, I had a feeling that part of her name stood for Magikarp. I feel like I've met some Magikarp counterparts in ranked lately. I'm not 100%. I feel like I met some Pokemon counterparts, so I'm triggering me in a bad way.
Pokemon, as in like they just magically appear out of nowhere and then claim your elo.
Most likely, honestly. At this point, I don't even know what's happening.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine at this point it will be quite a painful one.
As it is, you know, with this cage, I assume that the dirt is being electrified off, which normally means that you want to. I'm actually surprised that no one on 71st has taken an operator with impacts. I know that Maestro does have impacts. I don't know if Daddy Manny actually took them. It doesn't look like she's playing under a hatch for it, so I'm a little bit curious about that. Oh no, Daddy Manny did, but she already used it. A lot of the times it is quite hard to cade Nitro Cell that because your own Cade Electrified Core will actually destroy your Nitro Cell. However, it is going to be Bear being hot droned in by her teammates to claim the first kill of the round, which will be on top.
Yeah, he's 71st trying to pull off very cheeky play of having a Valk downstairs to try to deny some of the kitchen presence, so will be pretty much punished pretty swiftly, pretty quickly. And Kingswoman actually feeling quite strong here, very confident as well in some of the peaks. Going in for the gunfight though with a Jaeger will be punished. Fish Noodle finds the frag, but straight away gets refragged by Buddha SE MGKP KGW. Thank you very much.
Someone's been practicing.
I finally nailed it after like running it through my mind a few times. But yeah, but with a 3 versus 4 situation, 71st still technically have the chance to play it out, but if judging by how the first round went, I don't think Kingswomen will be waiting for much longer before they start the execute onto site.
Yeah, I feel like I do want to criticize Kingswomen a little bit. When it comes to their push, it feels quite one-sided. You know, they do have blue hatch open. However, they still have 2 of their hard breaches, you know, well and truly alive, and they actually do still have the gadgets available. However, they're just going for almost a one-sided blue push. You know, they could be opening up the dirt tunnel, they could be opening up the kitchen hatch, applying more even pressure, or even just perceived pressure at this point, you know, to make it so that the defenders don't know what's happening. However, you know, with this one-sided drop, they are going to be going down in numbers as a result of that, and they're getting punished. However, it is Buddha again who is able to clutch this out, and hopefully, yes, she will be taking the round for Kingswoman. I will not attempt to pronounce her full name.
I mean, it's fairly simplistic. It's Buddha SE MGKP KGW. There we go. I nearly had like a brain aneurysm somewhere halfway down the line. Map stats, please no, stop it.
Just
get some help.
Not into this.
But yeah, I mean, hey, this is looking real good right now. It seems that Buddha Farai is definitely all warmed up, all ready to roll, and just ready to get things underway and claim that dub fairly early into the game, given that maybe this is her prep before the Elevate game. Who knows? Because if she goes off like this on Elevate game, then I'd be scared.
Defenders protect your
Yeah.
from being defused by
Yeah, I'd be
attackers.
scared too, you know, if I was seeing someone like Buddha, especially on 4 kills right now and no deaths, to have such a force being reckoned with, it's definitely quite an intimidating task. So I'm keen to see if 71st will be adjusting their setup. Maybe this time they'll be a bit more prepared. I think I remember Kingswoman went for quite a heavy lounge push last time as well to almost flush out any roamers or any lounge presence, so that they were able to Ash Bridge up into CCTV to flush out the bandit trigger. In this case, you know, hopefully they have some preventative measures against that, so that Zero Prince will have her little feet safe as well as her bandit charges.
Yeah, fingers crossed for Zero Prince, because she got bullied pretty quickly in the first round, which was quite unfortunate to see. But talking about bullying, quick spawn peek. Cheeky spawn peek for all the ladies out there. Fish Noodle finding that down onto Bernadette. Unfortunately, unable to finish the Ash off, but still able to claim the some points for that, but at the very least, next gunfight could be quite lethal for Bernabeu.
And Fish Noodle as well, she took a healthy amount of damage in exchange for that spawn peak. Unfortunately, 71st don't have a dock on their team, so they aren't able to heal up any of that missing health, so Fish Noodle will just have to play a little bit more smarter now that she's also 1 bullet away from dying. One or two.
One or two, yeah.
One or two, here and there.
Here and there. Weasel is there, like, already prepped her gas grenade, like, in case, like, have an honorable death to deny the kill.
Yeah.
Fish Noodle, albeit doesn't look like she's really planning to die anytime soon, and rather will be trying to claim maybe a life or two. Zero Prince finds a frag, and, well, Bernabeu with a revenge will be able to get another one. So, back to a 3 versus 5, but, yeah, by Kingswomen here, this is a grand turnaround.
Yeah, and having the death of Zero Prince will mean that that Angry Wolf is able to thermite open the breach into CCTV. She does manage to spot out the deployable shield of things that are coming out. I would assume that she requires the help of the Sophia. But while I was talking, Toki threw a... Where did Toki get her kill? I'm not actually 100%, but Toki did manage to get a pick. However, she's promptly punished by Chloe on that IQ-G8.
Yeah, the G8 is a scary weapon to really play against. I'm interested about those two setups that both Weasel and Daddy Matty have, but nearly catching the kill. Buddha will be able to get rid of Daddy Matty. All down to Weasel once again to try to clutch it out, and right now she's about to be in a world of pain. Finds Buddha, finally finishes her off, but Chloe with a G8 once again strikes back, gets the kill with a fantastically looking Glacier G8 as well.
I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that deployable shield in the cache door isn't the most optimal place for a deployable shield. I know for a certain fact that if I was playing, I'd definitely rotate that shield to rafters, so I'd be able to hold the rafters in a more confident position where my angles don't get picked. Because I do know a very common angle for that cache door is actually on red stairs, where you're able to see almost the feet of the attackers when they peek that door before they actually peek it. Which is annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, but there are a few positions that could have been done slightly differently there. Hang on, I wonder if we just
maybe you just have to
like
select
this.
the map and get it over and done with.
Attackers need
I'll
to
select
locate
it for this, but
It's really not giving up.
the app is like really persistent. Like, I'm going to train you, no whether you like it or not.
What map is this?
It's just at this point, this is like an interrogation. It's like, where's
Tell
the
us.
trigger? Where's the...
Oh, look, it's the round history.
There's a round
not
history.
Something that we've had
Oh,
before
hello.
in this.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
convenient.
10 seconds left before insertion.
I thought, I turned my head to the vMix feed as well. I was like, wait, is that the R6 analyst thing, or is it actually like we get
Attackers
the
must
goodie?
locate and defuse a bomb.
We get the goodie apparently, so that is nice. That's very nice actually. Yeah, we just got told that is the wonderful production, and giving us even more amazing graphics as well. So many thanks, Alex. We love you.
Yes, yes. Well, the perks of buying a gym and bedroom site at this point is so someone like Fish Noodle will be able to bandit trick without the fear and ash charge below her feet. The first time her feet will be safe, however, not as safe because there is only a deployable shield in the way on that gym window. Normally, you would actually, most cases, you would have the gym door also castle barricaded off just to provide that additional safety net, I guess, if that first castle does get breached, because the deployable shield, your head's still a little bit visible over the gap, especially when you're moving around to try and listen through the walls for that thermite charge. However, it doesn't seem like it'll be applicable in this case, as it seems like Kingswoman's opting to go for a very hard, heavy cash to construction push.
It doesn't look like they even care really about that whole push, and there's already a full-blown offensive decision there. Daddy Matty gets just absolutely forced out of that position, but Yeah, this is one way to really adapt. Chloe already punishes Zero Prince as well. That is the wait, no, that's not the bandit. That's Fish Noodle will be playing the bandit this time. But rather, the Wamai gets punished once again. And well, with the way how things are currently unraveling, things are certainly looking like EGW is about to grab themselves another play, another kill. Well, there's another down. Finds the smoke as well. Oh no! Bear will be completely missing out. There's a down there, and there's the kill. There's two, and Bear completely obliterating the opposition, finding the 4th round in a row.
I actually do want to make a little shout out to Bear's skin. I believe that's the Pina Colada skin on the Ash. I know a lot of people like that skin. I actually know a lot of people who I've met who said that they would willingly trade their black eyes for the that Ash R46 Pina Colada skin.
I actually have, I believe, the Pina Colada skin, but I personally I would much rather trade it out for not even a black eyes. I just want a glacier skin on at least one of my guns. Like I missed because even though I've been playing out this
Defenders, protect your bombs
sorry,
from
what's
being
it called?
defused by attackers.
I've been playing Siege pretty much ever since its release, since beta. But
Yeah.
because back in the day I was broke as a joke and kind of unable to really fathom the idea of investing money into colored pixels,
You didn't understand.
I didn't understand the concept of just how much finesse and how much skill it gives to you. I didn't even acquire the Glacier skin, and well, now I'm pretty much can't even acquire consistent dubs in ranked. So, yeah, if maybe Ubisoft could, hit me up, we could
shout
maybe
out.
arrange something. Yeah, quick shout out.
Attackers must locate
Maybe we could arrange something. It would be dope. But to return back to the actual gameplay, Fish Noodles. That is a cheeky angle. Hello, Toki gets a little pick me up.
Bomb located by attackers.
I'll be holding a very interesting angle, but it seems that for now, oh my, that is a very stacked push by Buddha and Bear.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of Kingswomen's pushes so far that we've seen in these first 4 rounds is they have opted to go for a very coordinated push as a team, occasionally with Chloe or some other operator going from the side, doing a one-man push almost by themselves. But a lot of the times it is Kingswomen pushing together, which has netted them very effective outcomes. One person being droned in, and a lot of times it is Bear that is able to capitalize on these kills. As such, we see on Toki, and this makes Bear's stats an astounding 8-1 at this point. Buddha's not going to be falling far behind, getting that headshot onto Fish Noodle, which means that it is the dock that is going to be out of commission.
And that was a very confident swing as well by Buddha. Gotta say, that was very well coordinated and very good push by her. But once again, we are back to the usual trio of Daddy Matty, Weasel, and Zero Prince trying to defend from the onslaught of what seems to be just that unstoppable machine that is Kingswomen. And, well, with already still plentiful amount of time, Kingswomen have all the ground, all the time, and all the utility to go for pretty much any kind of push or from any kind of direction here.
I do want to say that was a very unfortunate C4 by Zero Prince that happened a little bit earlier onto that kitchen hatch. I believe she actually destroyed her own electrified claw, which, if it had actually stayed up, would have provided Kingswomen with a little bit of trouble because, the Thatcher is banned for this map, so it would have meant that maybe Buddha would have needed to use a grenade. However, it is Weasel who's not going to be able to spot the drop from Blue Hatch, and she's not going to be able to capitalize on that. Rather, Buddha Farai is going to be the one to capitalize.
Well, talking about capitalization as well, Weasel did manage to find a double kill actually as she trades with Butter, but still able to find the frag onto the last defender will be resulting in a 5th point for Kingswomen, as they are only 1 round away from claiming themselves the from match point. There's the
Yes.
We got it. We got the bread at the end.
The match point and the attacker defender swap.
Yes, and before that as well. Yes, correct. But yeah, at the moment this is looking like a pretty solid, fairly one-sided game as well. No matter what
Defenders,
71st are trying to really pull off here, it seems that the issues that you were mentioning before as well have been also fixed upon by well, sorry, not fixed upon. Actually, yes, by Kingswomen. And it seems that they are kind of doubling down on some of their aggression, some of their plays, and the ability to refrag even when one of the players goes down. So certainly looking like they have been practicing even against a team that is technically, even statistically, should be a pretty quick and easy dub for them.
5
But
seconds remaining.
alas.
Yeah, it's good to see that no matter who Kingswomen is facing up against, they're still acting out the appropriate strategy that they should be. You know, they're still droning properly. However, speaking of this, apparently no drones were available in stock because Vishnu is going to be the one to take down Buddha KGW. Oh, I did it.
You did it. Nice.
You know, the past few times she has done a little cheeky peek from that blue secret window. However, this time I'm pretty sure she took Kingswoman completely by surprise by going through the stock.
Yeah, being able to do that run out. I mean, I would imagine that at this point, after the previous round, rather, KGW will be pretty well aware that there could be a chance for another run out, but it seems that they didn't get the memo.
Bomb located by attackers.
Lose their Zafir, but Bear redeems that by going in for a swing and already takes full control of the rafters and able to apply early pressure, very early one might I add, and allowing Chloe to grab the frag there. Very nicely done. Bear, though, also didn't get the the note that the breach charge actually does get destroyed by the electrified wall, but nonetheless, that got redeemed pretty quickly, and already quite a plentiful amount of area has been already denied. Toki is still playing from down below, and does spot the Hibana, but to no avail. Fish Noodle is still attempting to find some sort of frags here before going down, and well, with it now time is starting to tick against the defense, she will be making her third move, netting herself that third kill as well.
Toki is on a triple kill right now, and I was just going to say if she was able to get the last two, it would have been an ace for her. However, it is going to be Chloe who's going in clutch. Can she make that triple into a quad? No, she won't, because it is going to be Chloe to pick up the last kill of the round.
Yes, indeed. With Kingswomen being able to just bounce back from pretty much any kind of issue, it seems that 71st don't really have a whole lot of success with the defense. Maybe during offense they could set the certain pace, but in a 6-0 scoreline, this is definitely not looking very likely here.
Yeah, and I do want to say, you know, the only reason that Kingswomen were able to advance on that attack so smoothly, especially in that round that we just watched, was because I did notice a lack of rafters control. And in a lot of games, you know, especially when you're holding Clubhouse, a lot of teams don't expect to hold rafters like that because it seems like it's such an easily reachable place. You know, it feels very unsafe a lot of the times just because there's so many railings in place. But I do want to pay certain attention that those rafters are actually so crucial towards that CC cache hold because they can hold direct line of sight right onto site. So, you know, any future aspiring defenders, make sure you hold those rafters.
Yeah, the rafters usage is certainly, it's a huge thing. It's a huge leverage both for the attack and defense. For the defense, you can have some really naughty angles that you can set up to essentially hold out most of the onslaught, and as long as your teammate can support you for whenever there's somebody breaching the garage walls, then, well, you can most certainly have a very strong position. But to get back to the actual side, the church and arsenal, here, this is the beauty of this side is that you have, for the most of it, floor that cannot be really breached, and apart from a small part of the armory, which you do have to hold out by yourself and, well, with the help of the impact tricking as well, which will be certainly done here. So curious as to that will be happening sometime soon. Apart from that, King's Women's setup actually looking pretty well versed as part of in regards to their castle barricading and everything, because essentially they just are waiting for 71st to come to them rather than coming to 71st and taking the battle to them, which is not a bad idea, but it could result in a few issues later down the line.
Yeah, I feel like Kingswoman is opting to go for more of a bunker down defense. You know, I don't believe there's actually any roamers in play, which would mean that, yes, 71st will have a easier task of clearing out any roamers. However, there is a lurking Bernabet that they do have to be careful of. She does get a little bit of a warning shot in, but she takes a little bit of damage in return for that. However, there is that threat of Bernabet now that 71st need to keep an eye out for.
71st starting to rotate their reinforcements just to try to get rid of that roamer, but meanwhile there's plentiful amount of time and pressure being applied from up above. Daddy Matty finding Coney. That is a great start here against King's Women. We'll be pushing the player advantage into 71st's favor, but for the time being it's still only a single player down. But plenty of damage has been already dished out to Toki and Daddy Matty as well. And in the further gunfights, they might be having a few issues if they won't be too careful. It seems that, though, for the time being, they are a little bit lost there on whether they want to go in for the push. Daddy Matty did get dropped, and I believe there could be a C4 potential, but no, alas, King's Women will be just playing a very safe game.
Yeah, and I feel like one of the downsides, however, of 71st's attacking push right now is that they don't have a lot of soft breaching available for them, which means that despite opening up all the hatches, they won't get that presence into church, which is exactly what Kingswoman is capitalizing on with these kills onto Fish Noodle and onto Weasel. That is, I also believe, the diffuser being dropped in Dirt Tunnel, which means that 71st need to go for a quick rotation. 20 seconds only left on the map, on the round, and they still need to reclaim that diffuser and go for a plant. Or, you know, take down the rest of the members of Kingswoman. However, that doesn't seem very likely because it is going to be Vanderbeer and Buddha getting their kills respectively. Not much of a chance for the attackers in this case because it will be Kingswoman taking it out on the first map of Clubhouse.
Well, Kingswomen solidifying their position and getting even more rounds for the round advantage, I suppose, now over Elevators. They now sitting on the same amount of points, I believe. Actually, let me double check on that one really quickly. Yeah, both teams had a single draw, no losses, and now both teams have 10 wins. So now is just the round differential that will be coming into play to see which team will be seeing themselves higher on the leaderboard. But that is it for the first matchup. A pretty quick 7-0 for Kingswomen. This is probably what they've expected, but also a really good, I suppose, showcase of their power right before, I suppose, their main match.
Yeah, I think that, you know, all eyes will definitely be on the Kingswomen against Elevate game, which will be coming up right after a break, shortly afterwards. And I definitely think, you know, with Elevate having a bye on the first map, that they definitely would have been sitting there, you know, twiddling their thumbs going, oh, I wish we could have been playing instead. I wish we had time to warm up like this, because no doubt Kingswomen will have their comms, you know, very up to date. They will be able to get their aim, you know, pumping out in this game against 71st. So I'm quite interested to see if, you know, that's a reason for maybe their possible victory.
Could be, yeah. It definitely looked like Kingswomen were all charged up, all prepared, all stocked up on that quantum energy as well. So yeah, it's definitely looking quite good for them. They're definitely in a good state of mind, obviously, as well. All their pushes seeming to be in a really coordinated manner, and they didn't really suffer a whole lot of losses there. So certainly looking quite nice and prepared for the Elevate. But the Elevate certainly, the Elevate roster rather, is certainly still technically considered the top of the leaderboard team, as this is, I believe, going to be their first matchup against King's Women. Oh no, their previous one actually did result in that draw. So
Yeah.
this is rather going to be kind of a bit of a grudge match, I suppose, to find out who will be able to either win, or maybe this is going to be a second draw for both of those teams. So whilst we are going to be setting up for that, we are going to be taking a short break just to get things underway, and we shall return with some more Siege action for Women's League in just a short few minutes. Stay tuned.
Siege. Yeah, I've heard of it, and I am the GOAT. When I'm attacking, no room is safe. Doors. Yeah, I think I remember them. Before I discovered Windows, the thinking man's door. I've come up with something I like to call a spawn kill. You've probably never heard of it. Because when I'm in defense, nobody gets in my bank. Teammates, droning. Listen, I've got all of the intelligence I need right here. My only team is me, my gun, and my skills.
Don't need to behave, gonna take me away, baby. Till my time. And the thought of you drives me crazy. You don't need to worry, cause you know that you got me. Cause I think about you. Cause I think about what I think about you. somebody else. Oh, I just wanna hide out from under all these indecisions. Oh, make room for somebody else. Circling the edge, way up high. Don't know if I'll ever have a useful alibi. Gone too far to stop. Yeah, I'll try. Flying, crashing, looking for the perfect suicide. Circling the edge.
To escape. It will take your own. When you're walking on the moon, walking on the moon, chase your happy place. It will change your groove. When you're dancing on the moon, dancing on the moon. When we dance again, all our troubles seems to fade away. That I've never been. When we dance again, all our trouble seems to fade away. This is how I feel. When you take me to some places that I've never been. When we dance again, that I've never been. That I've never been. Never been.
Walking on the moon.
You should know better than to write me off. Consider this a teaching moment.
Hello and welcome everyone for matchup number 2 rather of tonight's week 7 matchup. Cthulhu and Pi still on the mic. Pi, so far we had a bit of a one-sided kind of almost power showcase by Kingswomen against 71st in their prep for the game against Elevate. Any kind of initial thoughts on whether Kingswomen, in your eyes, kind of improved ever since we last seen them?
I think they did, but I also think that it was quite difficult to say anything concrete from that game because, it was over quite quickly as well. We didn't really get to see a lot of Kingswomen on that defense. We only seen them on attack. So I did see, they had good droning. They had good follow-up on their droning, but alas, for defense, I can't really say much. So, it'd be good to see maybe another side of them this time when they defend.
Yeah, well, they will get plenty of that, I would imagine, soon. But let's take a look at the second matchup that we will be seeing tonight. That is the Elevate versus Kingswomen. The battle of the top 1 versus the top 2 teams. Now, both of them are contesting for the first place, as both of them are on the pretty much identical record, being 10 wins and single draw. And that draw was actually gained from their previous encounter between one another, and, well, certainly promising to be a pretty close matchup once again. Now, let's have a look at the rosters that we also will be seeing. We already talked about the Kingswomen, so we get to talk about Elevate first. Any kind of could you give us a bit of a rundown on the Elevate roster and kind of your thoughts about them?
Yep, so the Elevate roster consists of Kotari as the team captain, Lola, Aussie Princess, Sav, Serenity, and also Crescent as their sub player. And all in all, Elevate has seen, as you said, an astounding season. They haven't had any losses yet, only one draw, which was against Kingswomen, which is who they're going up against as well in this upcoming match. So I'm quite eager to see, if Elevate is one of those teams with any high-performing players, or if they are a team that's extremely well-rounded in terms of, frag as well as drone potential in every single member.
Yeah, we'll have to see how and whether they are coordinated enough for this one. Let's have a look, though, at their challenges once again, just to get a quick refresher for Kingswomen roster. It is going to be Corvise, Bernabear, Chloe, Buddha Farai, or Buddha SE, MGKP, KGW, so
Yes.
a few of their abbreviations. Coney and Angry Wolf as a sub as well will be playing out tonight. And so far, we've seen both Buddha and Bernabear actually pop off quite substantially, pretty much leading the leaderboard, I believe, with a pretty hefty amount of kills as well.
Yeah, I do want to say, a lot of those kills, I also want to pay a little bit of contribution towards the droning that was actually utilized as well. A lot of the times when there was an entry frag, it was with the help, obviously, of a gun, but also with the help of a drone to help spot out those roamers, which is something that we did see Kingswomen do a lot of the times. They had a drone and they had someone follow it, commonly called hot droning. And so having to see that getting utilized is something that we haven't seen a lot in this tournament, which is something that's extremely important for a successful attack to be happening.
Yeah, a few good moments. Yeah, live or hot droning certainly has been a pretty good utility that Kingswomen has been pretty frequently utilizing. So I'm curious how will they really perform here against what is technically the best of the best in the Women's League right now. Let's also take a look at the map vetoes and see where are we going to be going. And that is, well, we're going back to Clubhouse for the rematch for Clubhouse 2 Electric Boogaloo. As this time, I would say Kingswomen are definitely going to be on in an advantage, just for the sheer fact that they are warmed up. They now they refreshed kind of how to play Clubhouse kind of in the competitive setting here against this, slightly lower tier team, but nonetheless a team that could really bring them a few upsetting rounds, but for Kings Women, that didn't really happen. So for Elevate, they might be, I would imagine, missing out on a few rounds initially, but surely they will be also pretty well warmed up and ready to roll. Any kind of final thoughts before we'll get into the matchup itself?
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. Kings Women and Elevate are two almost equally matched teams at this point, and I believe it is going to be Kings Women starting it out on attack with Elevate on defense. So Kings Women are almost having a mirror performance of the map that they just played against 71st, where they also started on attack on Clubhouse. So I believe, if they just did the exact same things that they've been doing this entire time, they should be able to almost gain an advantage onto Elevate. However, saying this, I do believe, if Elevate was watching the game and paying attention to how Kings Women played their attacking rounds, they will know that they will most likely get droned out with potentially Burner Bear following closely behind it. If they do go on a cash CCTV hold, there will be a heavy lounge presence as well. So these are, just some small things to factor into the account, and maybe we'll see some counterplay happening as well.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, let's take a look quickly at the Clubhouse once again, get a nice few cinematic views at the map itself. And, this is... I'm certainly quite keen for some of the engagement, because contrary to their matchup against 71st, I definitely think that we could very much see yet another draw here between these two teams. And well, at that point, this is going to be a very interesting situation, because technically the round differential isn't going to be changed at all. At least I think. Well, comparative to when Kings Women just finished their first match, that is.
Yeah, most definitely. I think this is going to be a lot closer of a game, which does mean that we might see some more defending rounds come out of Kings Women. Unfortunately, there is no overtime. So worst comes to worst, it would just be a draw for both teams.
Yeah, and I don't think either one of them would really want to draw. Both teams would like to see at least a dub in their pockets and an L in their opponent's side. But looking at the bans, quick kind of have a look. Already it's going a little bit off the usual meta rails. We do see the Maverick off the board, and then to follow up, it's Jackal and Wamai, which does mean that there is still a chance for a mirror, and there's still a chance for and there's a full-on chance that we are going to be seeing a Thatcher.
Well, unfortunately, Mirror does get banned out. However, this means that Echo and Maestro are free to fly should a team choose to, go for that. I am quite curious about Kingswomen banning out Wamai, because we actually have seen Kingswomen play a little bit of Wamai of themselves, but I also know that Elevate play Wamai as well. So maybe for Kingswomen, it seems more logical, seeing as they are starting out on attack, it seems more logical to ban out an aspect of Elevate's strategy per se, so that they will have a more easier attack rather than thinking about defense.
That could be a pretty good idea. Yeah, getting pretty much essentially banking on them gaining the point advantage in the attack is not a bad idea at all. So we'll see how it'll really work out, because that does open a few avenues for Elevate to bring out rather the Mutant Mozzie combo as well, to deny the information gathering for the attack, which subsequently could really make it an issue for for Kingswomen rather, to go in for the push and know where exactly to dump all the throwable utility to get rid of the Jaeger devices. So a point and an element of rather surprise, I suppose, could be in play, but we'll have to see how will it really play itself out. We have a few already setups and reinforcements being done, and a few
10 seconds remaining.
attempts at countering some of the plays, but Buddha will just not really be phased at all. Already the prep phase is about to be done, and already the mistake that you were really talking about and mentioning prior to us getting live is the fact that the con wall, the construction wall, has not been reinforced, which should be pretty much a free real estate to take, really.
Yeah, that wall, most commonly called trash wall, because it is facing outside to a bunch of trash and construction equipment. Normally, you definitely would see that wall get reinforced, just so there would be an easier help in construction and a little bit more defender gadget, attacker breaches that would need to be utilized in order to break that open. But as it is, all you need now is an ash breaching charge or even a secondary soft gadget to maybe breach it open. However, I don't see anyone in Kingswoman having it, so maybe it actually is playing towards Elevate's advantage.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Funnily enough, the fact that the Wamaya has been banned out has allowed Chloe to pretty easily deny the bandit tricking with the help of the fire arrows, which subsequently did grant the Kingswomen lineup already a quick and easy breach without any usage of the EMP devices as well. So that does leave all 3 grenades for pretty much an easy usage straight right by the site, as well as that to assist Buddha with some of the pushes with the with her twist drone as well to dispose of the utility even further more.
Yeah, and this is something we were talking about, look at that easy breach of that trash wall, which allows 2 members of Kingswoman to just almost walk in without really dispensing any gadgets or any utility for that wall, which additionally means more pressure onto Elevate, because this is all about perceived pressure, right? Where a wall gets opened up, you don't know if they're pushing it. They could be not, but it is going to take time off the defenders and it's going to stress them out. However, going for peaks like that is definitely not what you want to be doing, because you're opening yourself up to so many alternate angles, and Buddha and Coney capitalized straight onto that.
While talking about capitalization as well, finding the frag onto the 2 Romans has been absolutely phenomenal. Saren actually goes in for the swing, but only manages to get rid of one of the attackers. And well, Kingswomen actually being able to quite clinically address the whole defense on CCTV and be able to take care of it pretty quickly. So that does set a pretty nice pace for Kingswomen attack here.
Yeah, that defense from Elevate was a little bit surprising in terms of, I suppose, almost how little of a defense that they did put up. I genuinely thought that there was going to be a little bit more presence, if not on site, then maybe below, going for any C4 denial or any roam potential that was going to be stronger and more deadly. However, I didn't really see any of that come out. Rather, it was Elevate who was on the defense, whereas Kingswomen were almost able to push from any direction that they wanted to and get a kill from that.
Yeah, Elevate kind of just allowed really a whole lot of advancement to be made, namely that trash wall that you've mentioned before, that pretty much got opened up pretty quickly thanks to Burnabear's Ash Charge and being able to essentially take control of the construction and also be able to deny the 2 players that were rotating, that was the Castle and the Mozzie, and completely shut them down. So Elevate didn't really have a whole lot of ways to really rally their reinforcements back to the site. So it felt a little bit weird, a little bit off there. And well, maybe for this round they will be able to adjust. But once again, the same mistake is being made. Construction wall is still there, still ready to be opened. And well, Elevate may be trying to do the same thing. The fact that they have moved around one of their castle barricades to ensure that there's going to be plenty amount of time drained should really help out, but there's still plenty of soft breach to be brought on board as well.
Yeah, I do want to say rotating that castle barricade to that suicide window is actually an incredibly good move by Elevate, which shows a little bit of adaptation as well, because it was last time broken at the bottom because it wasn't castle barricade, it was just a normal barricade, which allowed one of Capital's firebolts to go through, which meant that bandit tricking it was almost impossible because you had literally had fire at your feet. There was no way around that. And coupled that with the Wamai ban, normally you would actually have a Wamai holding these rafters, so you wouldn't really need that many ADSs to protect you. However, with the magnets not being in play anymore, Elevate, naturally rotated most of their ADSs to rafters, which meant that the Capital fireballs just could fly in unpunished.
Yeah, it's the fact that Kingswomen just were able to run away completely scot-free with so many kills before any kind of punishment started coming out of Elevate. It's just, allowed them to gain that that huge momentum and that snowball effect almost against the opposing team. So here, obviously, Elevate now with slightly more extended of a roam are able to drain some more time, and with Lola fully knowledgeable that there will be a push either through the bathrooms or through the pool room, will be holding an angle. But so many more angles are already being taken. I mean, look at this. Buddha is already just outside of gym. Chloe just made an entrance there. There's still an unopened wall into construction. Bernabe is still applying pressure from down below and should assist Coney and Kovais to get the openings. Sav is already on lower health, and all of this altogether is certainly looking absolutely stunningly well organized. But Sav, amidst all of that chaos, actually able to get a really ballsy push and get the breach denial, which will keep her pretty much distracted with Buddha's swinging right onto Sarah.
However, it is going to be that construction push that is going to net the majority of the advantage towards Kingswomen. You know, they did lose Bernabe quite early on, but they were able to pick off Kortari and Saren during that construction push, which is huge because it means that the smoke play is gone, which means that there's no plant denial. And speaking of which, Buddha goes in for a peek with some prepared knowledge, able to get that headshot, able to get, you know, that 2K as well, on finally finishing off on Sav.
Whatever Buddha had for breakfast, I want like a double portion of that, because she just seeming to be absolutely on point. Reaction speed is there. It's just absolutely flawless execution on so many swings that she does. It's actually like, if I would be versing against her, I would be already tilted by getting pre-fired and being shot directly into my face so many times. It's absolutely filthy.
Yeah, and I really want to commend Kingswomen for their almost fast reaction to this attack. You know, they knew that there would be members of Elevate who were going for the roam, and it was going to be a vigil as well, part of that room, which is normally someone very intimidating to drone out because his gadget allows him to almost be invisible from all drones. However, what they did was they just nomad air jabbed off all of the flank or all the possible flank areas to try and eliminate the amount of time that they would need to drone out these defenders, and they just went straight for an on-site push, which actually ultimately, you know, backed out for them because Elevate weren't able to rotate back in time, and because of that, they didn't have a lot of members on site available to hold that defense down. And then Buddha was allowed to just almost run in and gun up the entire place.
10 seconds
Yeah,
left.
it's simply just allowing some of those Kingswomen players to
5
just
seconds
get
left
the
before insertion.
right position, to get the right drone in, and it's almost
Attackers' objective
feels
is
like
to
it's just
locate a
about it,
bomb and
really.
defuse
Just
it.
completely, you give her a millimeter, she will run away with a full mile of all the things that she can take from the opposing team, and that is nice. Yeah, that's a cool position.
Ooh, what an angle though.
That's a angle and a half. I rate that because that straight away looks into that doorway, but I don't think Buddha is actually going to be attempting to go in for the plant. There's going to be also the kite trick, but, well, only for once, so they tried to play it off the momentum, but to no avail. Curious if Lola will actually be reactive about that. Just a little bit too slow, and, well, the breach is going to be there, but at the very least, she will still have, at least for the time being, some presence up above, which I don't think Kingswomen are actually expecting, which in return could be a huge punishment for them.
Yeah, I don't think any of them have spotted out the impact holes above. Ideally, yes, if Lola did have one more impact left in her pocket, she would have been able to impact those Habana pellets off the hatch, which could have been entirely beneficial for Elevate, because I would have further denied any Habana pellets, possibly from opening up any further hatches, or at least wasting a little bit of gadgets. But as it is, the life pings are going to come out onto Aussie, but it's Aussie who's going to be winning that battle right through the cracks of the pipes in that engine room. She's got to be a bit careful about peeking that, because there are ways to counter it, as noted by the damage she took for a little bit.
Well, talking about the cheeky positions, Lola finally does able to acquire a frag, and this time it is on Buddha, the person who was pretty much wildly swinging on everyone. Meanwhile, Coney and Chloe are able to sow some more chaos up and around the area, with one of the air jabs also going off, which will be signaling about the play. That is actually Cortari, I believe, who ran into that air jab, but will be just waiting very patiently for the push. And funnily enough, Lola has actually missed out on the pickup of the diffuser. Cortari running into another air jab will be telling and signaling about the fact that they're where the push might be coming from. And Saren is the only person whose position is still somewhat unknown, although there goes Coney, finds a nice headshot. Can she find another one? The Saren and Cortari are just about to go in for the swing. Coney gets down, and now it's all down to Corvise to try to defuse that. A swing needs to happen really quickly. There's a swing, but no, missing out the shots, and it's Cortari to find the final frag.
That was an excellent retake by Elevate. You know, I honestly thought that Kingswoman had it in the third round in a row, because Corvise was actually able to nab the bomb right under the eyes of the Lola. So, I thought this was a terrible misplay. But luckily enough, Elevate had a fantastic retake, and they were able to almost, eliminate the entirety of Kingswoman and actually able to defuse the bomb, netting them their own round as well.
Finally, Elevate do manage to get on board with a point, only after 2-round bleed, which isn't too bad, given that that was a pretty, like you mentioned, pretty well done retake of the site. Well, now they are going to be forced back to the CCTV site, which previously has been pretty confidently taken by Kingswomen before. So now, technically, Elevate should know already the general pace and where and how would the Kingswomen really play their cards. So now it's more so a question of, can they nail the timing and can they nail the shots? Because so far in the shots department, well, on CCTV especially, Kingswomen have been completely just unrelenting and not really planning to take any kind of hostages.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you've been saying there. Hopefully, there'll be a little bit more of a stronger focus by Elevate onto the construction area, because it is where Kingswoman has been, allocating most of their operator count towards that direction. Occasionally, most of the time, they just have an Ash breach, or maybe a Zofia. No Zofia so far. Just an Ash breach in lounge to open up the bandit charges, so that the thermite can breach open into CC. However, most of the man count has been in the construction area, so hopefully, Elevate will rotate some of their utility or rotate some of their roamers towards that direction to be able to capitalize better onto these pushes.
Talking about the pushes, the attempt at just poking around the defense of Elevate has been made. Coney's just waiting for the right moment to place her charge, as Sav is just kind of flexing around with her timing, able to get rid of both of the bandit charges. Now that is a good hustle. Still 2 more for Sav, as the breach will be done, and well, Sav just missed out on that timing, and well, the breach will be done pretty well and pretty quickly. But meanwhile, Aussie will be able to respond back. Nice shot. That is Coney, albeit that her job is now mostly done, at least utility-wise. Will be lost out to the void of the gunfights.
I really like that position that Lola is actually taking down below in lower garage, because a lot of the times when people don't expect it, that you're able to get an angle into lounge from that lower garage, lower rafters point of view. Little cheeky bullet holes we usually play. No one's standing behind those bullet holes, luckily. Otherwise, I would have been a headshot. It is going to be more of a CCTV push, I would assume, seeing as the diffuser is outside onto the balcony. I would assume that members of Kingswomen are right now trying to flush out any defenders from below. However, hopefully it's not them who gets flushed out, because Buddha gets a surprising amount of shots tanked right into her body. Just not what you want to be happening, because it's going to be Lola who finishes off Bernadette.
A fantastic swing, and this even more so fantastic swing by Buddha as well, to find a double of her own. Will be resulting in us seeing both teams return to a 3 versus 3. Make it 2 versus 3. Chloe absolutely going on a tear here. Buddha as well, getting her triple kill as well. And that is all of a sudden a round for Kingswomen to take once again. It seems that just there's a full-blown magical skill there. Oh my god, the quick quad actually for Buddha to claim onto Kotari. But it seems that just the moment Buddha just enters the building, this is where all the magic happens. She's able to swing on everyone, get those frags the moment she's allowed to find that kind of that weak point, I suppose, is just empowers her to just do some absolutely phenomenal things.
Yeah, especially with that last grenade, you know, going right in there, right through the holes that the defenders open up normally for a C4 kill. Instead, you know, she turned it around, made it her little projectile hole, and actually managed to net her own kill from that. So excellent turn of events.
Oh yeah. Phenomenal play. Yeah, right now, Buddha's being pretty much trolled about all the Kobe's that she did, but look, right now Kingswomen are certainly looking like they are very much keen on grabbing themselves that dub. They want to get that first seed point going into the playoffs, which is rightfully so should allow them a somewhat easier run before the grand finals. Whereas for Elevate, if they do end up going down to the second place, they are going to get to play against Xto Gaming Aqua, which let me actually have a squeeze.
5 seconds remaining.
I believe it was a pretty convincing win. It was actually 7-2 and 7-3 for Elevate. So this could still be a pretty quick game, but nonetheless, having a tougher game before the grand final certainly gives plentiful amount of good VOD material, which I would imagine Elevate would really not want to give away.
Yeah, I think regardless of how this map turns out, I don't think Elevate would want to be picking Clubhouse against Kingswomen unless, you know, the next few rounds will drastically change the tide of this game. But as it is, Elevate looks like they're struggling a little bit to deal with almost Kingswomen's attack. Now, I do know there is a frost mat underneath this window in gym, so hopefully Buddha's aware of that. She doesn't die to this. However, you know, she's not even given a chance for that because Lola, the frost player, is going to get that kill onto Buddha.
What is the most surprising thing is the fact that Lola, amidst all of that gunfight, did not lose a single bit of health as well. So she will pretty much run away completely unscathed about that. And well, for Kingswomen, this is a huge loss because not only they've lost one of the salt breaches, they've also lost still an unused pair of frag grenades as well, which could have been absolutely big if they could have utilized on it. Oh, some more damage being done. Quitari, phenomenal peek there via the punch hole in the lobby, and well, will be promptly falling back as well to a bit of a sneakier position here.
That is the Nomad who's actually fallen, and I don't believe she actually managed to get any air jabs off before she got so brutally killed through that bullet hole, which means that Cortari will most likely be able to flank through the oil pit of Garage, which could have disastrous effects onto Kingswomen's attack.
Yeah, Kingswomen already seeming to be quite well and pretty much shut down from all of those peaks and from all of those engagements. All down to Burnabear and Corvise. Both of them are still fairly healthy, albeit Burnabear took a little bit of a damage. And right now, I believe that is actually Lola. She's hungry for more kills here. Saren is technically there to help her out with some of the engagement, but getting swung upon will be pretty much resulting in her own demise. And oh, there's a cheeky angle once again. Koitari, the goddess of the cheeky punch holes, will be able to claim yet another life through another punch hole.
I actually have a question for you, Cthulhu. I know that some people don't like the intended effect where you can shoot a few bullet holes and actually look through it to get a potential kill. However, I know there are people who greatly admire that fact in Siege and say that that's the whole point of Siege, that the subtle destructibility leads to potential kills. What's your side on that argument?
I mean, I'm somewhat fine with the punch holes because they're fairly easy to spot, given that all the decals around the punch hole pretty much indicate that there is a, there's somebody could be peeking. Generally, for me, this is
Attackers need to
rather
locate and
more so an
defuse
invitation
bomb.
of please pre-fire this place whenever I see a punch hole. And generally speaking, 80% of the time I get a headshot kill. So for me, I don't mind them. It's more so I probably have more so of a beef about the usage of the bullet or like small bullet holes. Like you shoot like 1 or 2 shots and you use literal pixels, which are borderline impossible to really spot. So probably in that argument, I don't mind the punch holes per se, because there is still a
10
chance
seconds
to spot
remaining.
them. With bullet holes, you really need to pretty much just almost
5
make out
seconds
with your monitor to really see them, especially in a distance.
Yeah, like almost your nose has to be within touching distance of your monitor to see that. Even when you drone it, a lot of the times the bullet holes aren't apparent until you see actually the person who's behind it. And I find that a lot of times when I die to bullet holes, it's almost most likely a doc who's 3 rooms away looking through a bullet hole with his ACOG. And I'm like, how do I even go up against that?
Yeah, some of the setups are certainly can get quite obnoxious and quite hard to really play against. Though Bear does find the potential first target, that is Kotari, but yeah, unless it's a bullet hole, you can counter pretty quickly, and all pretty much a matter of just droning things out. It's something actually, if it does go down to droning, but it's such a basic concept, albeit mastering it and making it work is a whole beast of its own, which is an extremely difficult thing to really master.
Yeah, on one hand, definitely props to them. On the other hand, it's just so annoying to face off against. Speaking of annoying, however, something that you definitely want to be doing when you're playing Siege is to shoot all the default cameras, which I've noticed that Kingswomen have not. Hopefully they've shot that garage default camera by now, but unfortunately it did net members of Elevate a lot of information that there were people pushing the rafters still. And I do want to say this is a little bit of a slower push done by Kingswomen. Maybe they have a little bit of trauma from the last round where they almost got stacked up against. But, a minute 20 almost left on the clock, and still no real remarkable progress. Yes, the kitchen hatch is open, however, no real frags have been happening out, and there still is a hatch that is catered, which I assume Paul Weiss and Buddha will make short work of. But, overall, a little bit of a slow work by Kingswomen.
It's still, it's a bit of a slower performance by Kingswomen comparative to some of their initial rounds and the rounds against 71st, but I gotta say, it still leaves Kingswomen with a fair bit of time. I mean, just about under a minute. It still gives you a few chances to really make a rotation and make a few adjustments right before the push. So there's still a few ways about it, but without being able to find a single kill now, this is going to be ensuring that both teams will have pretty much a bloodbath the moment the push onto the side will start happening, because so many crossfires being set up and prepped, this is going to be absolutely nuts.
Attackers have located
Yeah, I
a bomb.
don't know if Cody has enough time to be opening up that thermite breach to additionally go for the plant anymore. She does manage to breach it open, and Buddha does get that kill onto Siren, which evens it out to be a 4v4.
God.
But it's the bloodbath that we've been promised. All these kills happening out onto Elevate's side. Kingsman not able to retaliate in time, and it is going to be Aussie taking that final kill down onto Buddha. There wasn't enough time for Kingswomen to retaliate, to do much apart from breach open a hole in church and probably go for a plant. However, that was promptly denied by Elevate, which was an excellent turn of events, which also additionally evens out the round count. Elevate were down 2 rounds, I believe. However, the latest two defending rounds really even it up for them, which means that after this attacker rotation, they could maybe draw the map.
Definitely, yeah. Only 6 rounds remaining until we'll find the decider of whether it will be a draw or whether other teams will... one of the other teams... sorry. One or the other team. There we
Attackers
go.
need to locate and defuse bombs.
Either
They
or.
decided to kick in. Either or will be able to claim a win. Look, English do be hard sometimes. It appears that even during the high school league broadcast, Milboss had a few
Hiccups
issues. A few, yeah. Technical difficulties.
in the math department.
Yeah. In the mouth and tongue department. But hopefully we'll be able to iron out, maybe get a restart in the vocabulary part as well. But
10 seconds left before insertion.
at the very least, we were able to
5 seconds left.
stop the backseat analyst, that is the application,
moving out to
from
locate a bomb
interfering
and
with some of the thought process there. But yeah. Either way, round 7, we just had a switch in sides with Kings Women now going on the defense. And this time they have reinforced the construction wall, so we're already seeing some improvements here.
Yeah, and these early Habana pellets coming out will actually be very helpful towards members of Elevate if they want to flush out any defenders holding it out on the rafters. A lot of the times I don't see a Habana being utilized this way, which it brings me a lot of grief, Rafters is such a difficult place to flush out defenders, and it's such a defender's strong point because it does give you direct line of sight into the open breach that a thermite can make on that CCTV wall. So, that spot where Coney is right now is almost impenetrable, especially with that ADS. However, those Habana holes that are opened up below
Attackers have
will
located
cut
a
off
bomb.
any potential rotation that she can do, which isn't as good as killing her, but it's almost as good.
Yeah, definitely it should allow a few possibilities. I'm liking what Lola has there for a bit of a cheeky kind of sneaky advancement, especially with a suppressed pistol as well. So it should definitely make things a whole lot better. Also, this is the position and the peak holes that aren't frequently used, but Coney's opening here should allow her to hold a really nice position as well. But just as I mentioned that, it's Quatari to go in for the swing and get the frag onto Coney. Will be denying any presence that is on the rafters. And, well, Lola, in return, gets a return on her investment as well for being sneaky, going in sneaky beaky-like and finding that double kill before Corvise trades her out. So right now, between Chloe and Corvise, they need to find 4 more frags if they do want to find the dub, as the gas grenade won't be really doing anything, as it's both of them just missing out. There's the swing, there's the kill, and well, down, all down to Corvises in a 1v4 situation with a plan down. Ooh, only 10 seconds, well, actually less than, just about 5 seconds actually to technically kill all 4 of the players and find the defuse as well.
Things definitely aren't looking good for Corvise. There's still 3 more flash grenades that Siren could potentially throw to further hinder the progress of Corvise, as well as our open breach hole onto CCTV. She is going to swing and is able to down Sav, but that's still 3 more members of Elevate that she has to go through. Most notably, the person that's still holding on rafters. However, no, she isn't able to clutch that out, which is understandable because Kotari, with that bearing 9, is definitely a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, Quatari managed to really bring the heat there. Able to establish control over the rafters, being able to have long crossfires, and being able to just pretty much just poke around and just do enough utility damage to ensure that Kings Women are not going to be feeling too confident on their defense and on their, I suppose, the anchor positions.
Yeah, and I was just about to point this out. I feel like taking a Legion is a little bit of a waste when you could potentially take a Valkyrie, a
protect your
Newt,
bombs from being
someone who
defused by
has a little bit more denial. It was good to see a 6-hit come out on Core Ice to that Mute, so, took the words right out of my mouth. Nothing to say furthermore here. And I say this because having an additional C4 in a pocket is so immensely helpful, especially for those situations that Core Ice was just in. As a Legion with your double impact grenade, you can't really clutch out a round unless obviously you hit your shots. However, with a C4, you are able to deny the plant, maybe either when you throw it across the wall, or you can go underneath,
10
which
seconds
is
to
something
go.
that a smoke canister cannot do. You could throw it underneath, but
5
you
seconds to go.
wouldn't,
Yeah.
because it doesn't really reach that
Attackers are
properly.
moving out to
Yeah.
locate a bomb and defuse it.
I don't know, I've actually never thrown a smoke upwards to deny a plant. I don't actually know how effective that is.
I mean, there's technically it still can reach the
Yeah.
smoke from up above, but you have way more margin for error there, and if you misplace it, because I believe it works in a spherical way, so you essentially make the effective angle much tighter. So yeah,
True, yes.
many
Circles.
geometry, such wow.
Yeah. A little math lesson aside, Buddha is going to struggle a little bit on that bandit tricking. She is getting concussed out by Lola, who I assume is reloading because she's used up all her concussions.
Still has one.
No, she still has one, so she could still potentially go for it. Or the more sensible approach would be to go into lounge, use those impacts, and open up below, so that she'll be able to, completely deny that bandit trick, which is exactly what she's going for.
Oh, and that is a whole lot of damage as well being dropped onto Buddha. But that doesn't stop her at all. She's gonna just keep on swinging, just keep on peeking, but unfortunately just bad timing and bad placement will be resulting in the breach nonetheless. But still, I believe that's all the brimstone charges.
Yeah, however, during this almost
Attackers have
confusion,
located a
Coney
bomb.
does get down onto the rafters. I don't believe any member of Kingswomen is actually able to go for the pickup. Buddha is quite close, but they will need to make sure that the garage door is clear. It is getting droned out, and there are members of Elevate congregating onto it. Probably not the safest outcome. Buddha does still have a nitro cell available in her pocket, so if she lands it right, she could be able to take down Saren even.
Saren is still in a very interesting position where she could go in for the swing. Actually, all gets swung on by Buddha and gets the frag, and also to Robin the assault into injury, actually able to pick up Coney as well, back up and running. And so that is a great beginning, given that, well, Buddha has been fairly low in health, so he was expected to pretty much die during that gunfight. And finds a second headshot as well, and dodging all of the bullets at this point and trying to maybe find another swing onto Lola, but Lola responds back with a double kill. Another swing by Coney, and Coney dies to Aussie, all down to Chloe now to try to play it out and get maybe a win, but forcing Sav out of her comfort zone could potentially be an issue. Aussie will be sticking the diffuser, but right now so much damage being dealt to the Thatcher as well. Goes in for the swing, gets the shot onto Aussie as well. Both of the attackers are now so low in health.
Chloe doesn't have any smoke canisters left in her pocket, so unfortunately isn't able to clutch at the straight up gunfight between Sav. She doesn't have an advantage with that gun, I must admit. Oh, that was a tasty one tap though. Yeah, did not expect that one to come out.
That is saucy.
That was tight. However, this is going to be Elevate who's actually able to broaden the distance between the rounds. We saw Elevate struggle a little bit at the start of their defending rounds, where they did lose a few rounds to Kingswomen. However, they've made up for this entirely by their strength in attack.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, once again, mad props to Lola. She has been able to be that consistent thorn in the side of pretty much the whole matchup, really, against Kingswomen. She was there to always kind of pick around, find 1 or 2 kills, and pretty much swing the player advantage into her team's favor at any given point in the whole matchup, and it's absolutely phenomenal to see a player of her role, which is technically, you could say, a flex fragger or a flex entry frag, and being that consistent as well.
Yeah, you know, it's one of the struggles for entry player is to be consistent and is to land those first few shots, because that's what a fragger is meant for, especially an entry fragger. You know, you want to get droned in, sure, you have that intel, but you also need to be able to land your shots. Otherwise, you don't really have a worth per se. You're not saying that like you as a person, but you carrying out your role as an entry fragger, you're not quite accomplishing what your team needs you to do. And it looks like Lola's actually quite good at, you know, some of these stealthy little entryways.
Yeah, that is well prepared.
Yeah, you know, she's done it multiple times now. Buddha is going to get caught out by this drone. Hopefully that doesn't distract her from the fact that Lola is lying there in wait, able to pick her off with relative ease.
Look, all I'm gonna say is this is working out way too well here for Lola. I was waiting for Buddha either to react and just go for a swing, and maybe that drone could have alarmed her about that, but it played in so well. It's honestly, this is a pleasure to watch these kind of like plays really work out here for Lola. Even though technically, if you try to apply that kind of play to say ranked, you'll just get swung upon and and will be told goodnight as well as a part of like toxic measures as well, just to rub it in just how much of a goof you are.
I actually had a game the other day where I got spawn peeked like straight up one tap bullet, and not only did the enemy say goodnight to me, but my own teammate actually turned on voice chat and was like, good night. I was like, yep. All right, that's fair.
I mean, yeah, whenever you get one tapped by, say, even like say somebody with a pistol, now that does take quite some skill and a good aim. So technically it's fairly admirable, but yeah, it's still not too pretty whenever you get one tapped by a place where you barely could even expect from. But nonetheless, looking here, memes aside, I suppose right now Saren is just going to town here with that skeleton key, and for the right reason, actually. It should be able to find a good cutoff for some of the rotations between the church and arsenal, and that could very much shut down King's Women's progression anytime soon.
Yeah, this definitely looks to be more of a Arsenal push, maybe even an Arsenal plant down by Elevate. So with these line of sights that the Buck was able to open up on the main stairs, this does mean that they have almost an entire site secured with this line of sight. You know, further cementing this, Aussie is able to take some kills off in that dirt tunnel. She's just looking to, maybe waiting for her team to guarantee the safety of the plant before she actually goes in. However, there is going to be no safety because King's Women, oh, that is nasty. You know, they had all these angles secured for Elevate, but they weren't able to maintain it because members of King's Women just swung and they were able to capitalize on this so quickly.
Oh my god. That turned around so quickly, but yeah, King's Women just finally managing to find their momentum back in play, finally being able to break the pace, the momentum that Elevate were able to ramp up for themselves after getting 4 rounds in a row. This is definitely now rolling back to potentially one of the closer games already on round number 10, which will be deciding whether Elevate would be able to finally score themselves a match point or whether King's Women will be able to make a return and push it into a draw. And I'm not going to say anything, but I feel a draw might be on the horizon here.
I mean, Elevate is just 1 round away from getting those 6-round wins, and once they get 6 rounds, it would really mean only a draw or a win at that point. So if I was on King's Women, I would be doing everything in my power to prevent Elevate from taking that one last round, because it would, you know, it really would suck to go for this many rounds and still end up in a draw.
Yeah, a draw would definitely be a bit of a bit of an unfortunate outcome, I would imagine, for both the teams, given that, well, Elevate are so close to gaining themselves that win. Only 2 more rounds, technically. The Kings women, this is also getting fairly close. 3 rounds remaining. But I get a feeling that one of the teams will end up cracking under the pressure, maybe, but yeah, we'll have to see. This is definitely, setup-wise, this is definitely looking a whole lot more meta, I suppose, for the defense. Buddha will have pretty much free real estate to play bandit tricking, given that she has 2 of the castle barricades. She has a ballistic shield to cover her, so at the very least 3 breaching charges will be needed to get rid of, and it seems well, Lola would have only a singular singular pair of the impact grenades to get rid of either one of those 3 things.
Yeah, and that's the downfall of not taking in an Ashe as well. Maybe Elevate didn't expect them to go for that gym site. However, being able to take an Ashe and being able to, get those flash grenades to further deny any of those ADSs would be a huge benefit. However, that's all irrelevant because the wall is actually opened up. That double team by the Thermite and Habana on the different sides of the breach will actually succeed.
Now, this is a thing that we don't get to see a whole lot of times, but this is a phenomenal coordination. After putting a few EMP grenades, you get both the Thermite charge and the Hibana charge to be placed, and that allows, essentially, if Bandit does decide to go in for a trick, at the very least, one of the walls will be opened up one way or another. So it's a great way to essentially force the Bandit out of his position, and not a whole lot of counter really up, unless you are a god at timing the kite charges. But even then, that's still quite a challenge. Chloe, whilst I was waffling on about, does manage to get rid of Sav, although that is after already Sav's utility has done its dark bidding. So at the very least, utility-wise, the job has been done. Serena and Kortari do manage to make a return on investment with finding a kill each, and that is Coney and Kobais make it 3 as well as Bernabeu will be going down. Chloe is the last person standing, and well, this is certainly looking like Elevate might just be grabbing themselves their 6th point, and well, sure will. There we go.
And speaking of which, just to remind everyone of what we were saying before, once Elevate has won the 6th round, there is no overtime available in the round robin, which means that the only possible outcome coming out of this match would be either Kingswomen tying with Elevate again, or Elevate actually taking the win for themselves, because they are 1 round away from victory.
Yeah, only 1 round remaining for Elevate, and it could be done here on CCTV. Round 11, if not this round, then the final 12th round will be the big decider as to whether it will be a draw or a win for Elevate, as right now no more win is now guaranteed for KGW. Their only revenge here could be the draw to not allow Elevate to take any kind of action against Kingswomen. So we'll have to see. Kingswomen so far had a bit of a lackluster performance on their defense, allowing a plentiful amount of rounds to be drained away by Elevate, as it seems that the Elevate roster is a bit more well-versed on the attack rather than defense. And well, for Kingswomen, this is certainly not the best showcase, given that they had such a good performance on their very first game that should have warmed them up just enough.
Yeah, and I think this is definitely the case of maybe not enough strats available in their arsenal, because I do want to say every time Kingswomen has held the Cash and CCTV site, they've almost had the same operator lineup, although Corvise has swapped between the Mute and the Legion, but the positioning of all the operators, the positioning of the utility that's been placed by the defenders have all actually been in almost the exact same position. So, as a team like Elevate, who's quite accomplished, they are able to recognize that this is actually the same hold. So if they just attack the same way as before, most likely things will turn out to be their victory.
We'll have to see Oh, this unravel. This is a very unusual picture to witness.
There's a
all
lot of
5
people up
players
there.
Yeah, that is a lot of people. All of them want to get in on that and just get the dub.
Poor Buddha's trying to bandit trick. She's like, everything's flying in at me. I can't do this.
The moment she hears both the thermite charges and the Hibana charges being planted, I'm in danger.
Chuckles.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Talking about chuckling, Lola is preparing her own revenge tour here, as she already done for another cheeky, sneaky entry into the stock room, which should allow her yet another quick setup for some of the gunfire to be prepped. Buddha's position could actually completely deny Lola for the first time in a while, as I don't think Lola will be expecting somebody to come around from the bar, but a drone should be pretty much should tell the story of that. I don't think she actually spotted the bandit.
Yeah, I think Buddha's head might have blended in with all those bottles and they weren't actually able to spot her out. However, it is going to be Chloe getting that pick onto Lola, so no, Buddha won't be getting that kill onto Lola. It will be a vertical play, and this is one of the strengths of that cash and CC, because just as likely as you are to get almost bucked beneath your feet, you can also turn the tides and shotgun some holes in the floor to take the heads off the attackers.
Definitely, yeah. Attackers certainly feeling maybe a little bit more pressured now that Lola, their top fragger out of all the people, has gone down. Things are certainly going to be looking a little bit more grim. I mean, look at the difference. 14 for Lola, 11 for Kotari, and the next person is on 5, that is Aussie. And that is quite a substantial disparity in the frag. Same actually applies to the Kingswomen, more so even in the Kingswomen department, where you see 12 kills, then 8, 6, and then 3 and 2, which also shows another disparity. Coney and Bernabé does manage to find a frag each and actually make it a double kill for Coney. Aussie finds the shot onto Chloe, goes in for the swing, but unfortunately doesn't have time nor the health to really challenge Bernabé, and well, Kingswomen push it to round 12.
Against all odds, Kingswomen are able to win this round, evening this up to be a 6v5, 6-2-5, sorry, which means that if Kingswomen win one more round, it will actually be a draw again for the second time that Kingswomen and Elevate have faced off against each other.
Yeah, this could be huge if they are able to draw it out and make a comeback, given the fact that they had a bit of a rough beginning there for the second half. Kingswomen definitely are looking at now drawing out to just play for rather displacement, to have that kind of uncertainty for Elevate, given that I think the fact that they just managed to get a 7-0 did shorten down the round count there, or rather the round difference between the two teams. So we'll have to have a look after, I would imagine, the match to see where it'll place both of the teams. I'm liking what Chloe is doing though, opening up a few rotation points so that there is going to be a chance for an escape should one of the defenders go for a very wide roam. But it looks like not a single person actually will be planning to do so. Corvise will be just setting up a few goo mines up and about to see if maybe she can slow down a few pushes, and Bernabé seems to be the only person to maybe go. Actually, she'll just stay around the lounge area, which is also not a bad place to sit, but just too many angles to really contest there, I gotta say.
Yeah, and I do want to say, this is another excellent example of perceived pressure, because having those hatches open to the attackers like Elevate would indicate that most likely someone would be playing up there, or someone would be looking to rotate through there. So you would definitely be spending time to drone that out, unless you're being careless or something, but you would definitely need to drone that out just to have that added security that there is no roamer there. I mean, we know that there isn't, but members of Elevate don't know that, which means that it is going to be taking time off their precious attack. Lola not able to connect the shots against Buddha, but it is going to be Kotari who takes down Buddha.
A bit of an unfortunate demise for Buddha, but the two good things that did go down is look at the amount of drones that got taken out. The drone economy for Elevate is going to be pretty bad, given that Aussie already doesn't have both of her drones. Sav technically still has two of her. Saren still has one. Lola and Cortari have one as well. And the timer got drawn out for another pretty much half a round. So for Elevate, this is a bit of a sloppier performance, although they already managed to get a breach rather, in the dirt tunnel, which should pretty much solidify another avenue for the push.
Yeah, the biggest point of view that I would want
Attackers
to
have
see
located a
Elevate
bomb.
take is maybe to go for Moto Hatch or Kitchen Hatch as well, just to apply a little bit more pressure onto the members of Kingswomen. Because right now, as they are, they're free to sit in Arsenal, not really get pressured, because that hatch is still closed and gated. So maybe we need to see some rotates come out of Sav and possibly Cortari, because I would assume that Aussie's busy dealing with her own troubles in Dirt Tunnel. However, Saren is going to be taken down by, what a swing from Bernabet. It is going to be the Buck player goal, which means no more soft breaching on the team of Elevate.
That was a good night worthy there, Bernabet. Gotta say, that was sweet. The stream didn't see it, but I kept an O face for probably another 10 or 15 seconds. Talking about the O face though,
15
Sav
seconds to go.
does manage to find a shot, gets traded out. Same goes for Bernabet. She's getting traded out, all down to Chloe to try to just shut down the plan,
Attackers
but
activating diffuser.
just unfortunate timing there will be coming out. Elevate do manage at the end of the round, swing right in, sweep up the Kingswomen roster, and grant them their first loss.
That was a fantastic show of events from both teams. At one point, I really thought it was going to go either way. At the start, I definitely thought it was going to be going in Kingswomen's way. But ultimately, Kingswomen's defense wasn't quite as strong as their attack, unfortunately, which does indicate maybe a little bit of areas to work on, maybe a moment of weakness. It is Elevate who's coming out on top. Lola and Cortari definitely showing it off with those 15 and 13 kills.
Yeah, Lola went absolutely off. Same goes for Cortari. Those two players were just an absolute death combo there for their team. But not to not to give any credit there as well for the Kingswomen. Sorry, I had a slight brain. I don't know what else. So what other issues are there with me right now? But yeah, a grand performance from the Kingswomen lineup, namely Buddha Farai, the first person that does come to my mind as well. She was going for some absolutely phenomenal swings, able to get some really good plays for her team and push their roster to as close to that win as possible. So, but unfortunately here for Kingswomen, they will be sticking to the second place, and well, Elevate will be continuing their flawless run in the regular season, and will be going into the into playoffs. Round robin has finished already. Into playoffs with the first seed.
Yeah, just to recap, that is the end of all our round robin games. The next time that we will be appearing, which will also be next week, I assume at the same time, it will no longer be round robins. Rather, it will be the start of our grand finals and semifinals.
Correct. Yeah, the playoffs will be coming out, and we will be seeing our top teams to really play it out for the championship of the season 2, which I genuinely think that we will be granted somewhat similar in the length of the maps, games, and some of the rather closer rounds between the teams. As now all the kind of what could have been rather considered child's play, kind of toying around with some other teams, memeing about, is now finished. We are now going into the playoffs, which are going to be starting from the next week. And yeah, this is where the serious pants do come on, and this is where I feel we get to see the juiciest plays from each one of the players.
Yeah, I feel like, if you're a team that wanted to conserve their strategies all the way up until the finals, where through VODs, no other team would be able to get a glimpse of any strategy or any, ways that you might be playing, now is definitely the time to release all of that, release all the hidden arsenal that you have to really shock your opponents and take the map for yourselves.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I definitely think that there is still a chance for an upset. I still think that Elevate could really be trumped here by, say, either XDO Gaming Aqua or Kings Women. Both of these teams have shown that they can take quite a fair few rounds off Elevate's roster. So, yeah, we'll have to really see how things will go here. But for now, we shall be taking a week's break before the playoffs do begin. And, well, any kind of final thoughts before we close out, Pi?
I think overall this entire round robin experience, whether or not you've made it to the final stages or whether you haven't, I think despite all that, the games have been a great learning experience for players who have had a lot of time expended in Siege, as well as for those who are relatively new to Siege as well. I think, this is an excellent starting point for, all the women gamers in the ANZ community to almost band together and have some friendly matches with each other.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal opportunity as well, and does open up a fair few opportunities as well. But for now, for tonight, that is all about it for us. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for coming around. Thank you, Pi, for joining me for yet another fantastic week of games. Thanks to our sponsors as well. That is ZQ Racing, Quantum Energy Drink, Ubisoft Australia, Computer Alliance, and of course, thank you to our wonderful production team at XP Esports. And for now, this is it from us. Take it easy, stay safe, and we'll catch you next week for the playoffs.
Siege. Yeah, I've heard of it, and I am the GOAT. When I'm attacking, no room is safe. Doors. Yeah, I think I remember them. Before I discovered Windows, the thinking man's door. I've come up with something I like to call a spawn kill. You've probably never heard of it. Because when I'm in defense, nobody gets in my bank. Teammates, droning. Listen, I've got all of the intelligence I need right here. My only team is me, my gun, and my skills.
energy, it's making me realize everything we've been through makes us strong enough. You and I, everything we've been through makes us strong enough. You and I.
about the best way. I'm not thinking about the best way to save them. I'm not thinking about the best way. I'm not thinking about the best way. I'm not thinking about the best way. I'm not thinking about the best way to save them. I'm not thinking about the best way. I'm not thinking about the best way. I don't want these problems. Gone back home. I think that you should come back home.